So today I want to talk about why sometimes we feel as if we're really thriving in life, really getting on well, compared to other times whenever we go into survival mode, really just feeling as if we're on autopilot and getting by on a day-to-day basis. Whenever we have a constant flow of serotonin, we feel as if we are calm and in control and we're confident in our ability to cope on a day-to-day basis. However, not all of us feel like that. In fact, many of us get caught up in a constant cycle of negative thoughts, and we have a sense of overwhelm and kind of getting caught up in that cycle of worry and feeling as if we're losing our ability to cope on a day-to-day basis. To understand why this is the case and why sometimes our best intentions can get overridden and we return to our previous coping mechanisms, like perhaps emotional eating, binging Netflix, maybe alcohol or cigarettes, then we need to understand how the mind works in relation to this. Because whenever we're feeling calm and in control, we are operating from an area of our brain called the intellectual mind. Now, whenever we operate from this part of the brain, we're generally getting things right in life. We'll always come up with answers based on a proper assessment of any given situation, and it's generally very positive. However, there's another part of the brain, and this is our primitive emotional brain. The centre and influential bit of this brain is our amygdala, and this is often referred to as our fight, flight or freeze area of the brain. And it's associated with two other primitive parts. The hippocampus, which stores all our emotional behaviours and patterns, and the hypothalamus, which regulates all our chemical responses in our body and mind. So let's say, for example, we experienced real danger today, like an oncoming car. What would happen? Our anxiety would go up. We would lose intellectual control. We'd move from this part of the brain to this part of the brain. Okay, our heart rate would go up, our palms would go all sweaty, stomach would churn, and we'd be off like a shot. In the circumstances, your response would be entirely appropriate. You'd be pleased. However, it's also the same in life. Because when our anxiety goes up, and it can be a gradual process over time, we lose that intellectual control and we move from this part of the brain, our thriving state, to this part of the brain, our survival state. And this part of the brain, because it's only interested in our survival, will always see things from a negative perspective, always see things from the worst case scenario. Therefore, it'll always operate within the primitive parameters of depression, anxiety or anger, or a combination of all three. If for one reason or another, either real danger or perceived danger, like worrying about something negative from the past or worrying about the future, then this area of the brain will step in to help, and it will release those stress hormones throughout our body, which is absolutely fantastic if we are in real danger and need to get out of that really, really quickly. But if we continue with our negative thoughts and our worry, then these stress hormones will remain in our system and over an extended period of time can become chronic. And then this can lead to us experiencing anxiety, stress, depression or anger. So, in my next video, I'm going to be talking about how stress and anxiety and depression is created and how we can limit the amount of time that we spend in this area of the brain where we're really just surviving and spend more time in this area of the brain where we're really thriving in life. But in the meantime, if you want to read more about this, I wrote about this in more detail in my blog, which is available on my website at www.serotoninsolutions.co. But in the meantime, have a think today, have a real think, and just be honest with yourself in terms of where you feel you're operating. Do you feel calm and in control and really think you're operating from the intellectual mind part of the brain? Or are you caught up in that negative cycle of worry and perhaps we're operating from this primitive emotional area of the brain? Because this is so important, because having that awareness is key and it's the first building block on breaking free from this negative cycle of worry. So have a think about this today and I'll chat to you soon. Okay.